Hey guys, welcome back. This is Neon. We're going to talk about Neon Genesis Evangelion. We've done a few videos about the controversial redub, Netflix's redub of Evangelion. A lot of people are not really big fans of what Netflix has done, be it the translation itself being different from ADV or the voice actors being replaced. A lot of people aren't happy about the redub. And of course, there is the issue with Fly Me to the Moon not being part of the American version of the redub because of rights issues, because Netflix didn't want to throw the money at the licensing company to get the rights to Frank Sinatra's Fly Me to the Moon. So all of this has become sort of a perfect storm, a perfect shitstorm, I might add. Many outlets that normally don't cover anime are actually covering the debacle with Neon Genesis Evangelion. And of course, we've got the original voice actors chiming in now. Spike Spencer and Tiffany Grant were upset that they did not get to reprise their role, as was Amanda Winley, who was the original voice of Rei Ayanami. She said a couple of months ago, well, last year, I guess, this time she will be heartbroken if I don't do Rei's voice. I poured so much of my life into the original show and those movies. And now, just the other day, here comes Amanda Winley telling fans to eat a dick. So we'll talk about how we got to this point in this video. If you haven't subscribed already, if you have not subscribed to CLOWNFISH TV already, please do so. It definitely helps the channel. We really need to get found now. We've apparently been targeted by the YouTube algorithm. A lot of our videos lately have been demonetized for ridiculous reasons, and they're usually held up for about 24 hours until they release monetization to the videos, because they do a manual review and they find out that, hey, we didn't talk about anything controversial. We did not violate any YouTube rules that we were aware of. They just, for some reason, have decided in the last week or two that like almost every video we put out is going to be demonetized until they have a chance to review it. The problem is it takes a day for them to get around to it, and at that point we've lost most of our revenue on the video. So subscribing to the channel absolutely helps us. It helps us get found, and we really would appreciate it. So anyway, Amanda Winley put this tweet out yesterday. For 20 effing years, I've listened to fanboys bitch that I took too many liberties with the translation of Eva. Now their knickers are in a twist because it's too literal. Learn Japanese and translate yourself, or eat a dick. Either way, STFU. Wow. You would think that Amanda Winley, the original voice of Rei Ayanami, and apparently, now I'm not sure exactly what her role was in the translation of the ADV version, but she was apparently more involved than just doing the voice for Rei. You think she would be sitting back watching the Netflix version and being like, yeah, crash and burn, bitches, because she really wanted to be involved with it again. And I think a lot of anime fans, or at least fans of the dub, would have liked to have had her involved with the new translation, and she wasn't. So now she's basically telling the fans to suck it. But you go through the comments, and this is entirely true. Maybe the ones who bitched about yours are happy with the Netflix translation, and vice versa. This is true. I mean, I don't know why she's being attacked now. If she was not involved was she involved? I don't think she was involved at all in the Netflix version. So I don't know if people are harassing her now and trying to say, hey, the Netflix version is a better translation than yours was. I would actually argue that no, it's not. It's actually very, very lifeless. I think the original ADV dub had a certain it factor to it that the Netflix version doesn't. I know people are going to argue with me about that. They're gonna be like, why are you watching dubbed anime? I'm like, in the case of Evangelion, for me, and I've said this before, it was the first anime series that I bought in its entirety on VHS, and I bought the dubbed version of it. So for me, I always think of Evangelion, as the ADV dub. That's one of the few series that I've watched. Now, I have gone back since then, watched the original subtitled version. I watched the movies initially subtitled, and but it has a special place for me, especially in 90s anime. I mean, that's really when I started to get into anime, was the mid to late 90s, and Evangelion was definitely definitely one of my favorite series, along with Slayers. And again, it's another case of like, I can't imagine anybody else being Lena Inverse, you know, and I don't want to see anybody else be Lena Inverse. I loved the voices in the original dub. So, you know, to have her come out and complain about the fans who are complaining about the Netflix show seems kind of stupid, unless they're going back to her and being like, nah, Netflix did a literal translation, it's better than yours, whatever. But to tell people to eat a dick, come on, Ray, you're better than this. You're better than this. Don't tell people to eat dicks. Ray Ayanami would not tell Shinji to eat a dick. Well, maybe she would. I don't know. So even Resetera actually called her out on it. They're like, you know, oh my God, why is she telling fans off? Twitter was a mistake, not pertinent to discussion, but the mental image of Yukiko telling other people to eat a dick is hilarious. It's almost like the people complaining about different things are different people. Wow, maybe she should have kept that to herself. I'm confused. I'm missing the context. I'm confused about this. Now people are upset at both localizations. Yeah, apparently. Now the fandom was already split, and now it's like really split. Harsh, but I can see where she's coming from, considering the horrible harassment she had to endure, as well as the horrible things said about her child. Well, see, I didn't know that. I always think that kids should be off limits. If somebody's harassing her child, that is wrong. Do not do this. Do not do this. Yeah, I feel like I'm missing some context here too. I know there's a huge controversy here, but when Resetera is actually telling you that you've gone too far with it, you know, this is kind of like, wow. Wow. So they're basically telling the Evangelion fans to go take a hike. And now I've heard, look, I'll tell you the truth. I've heard both sides of it. I've heard, you know, a lot of purists were not happy with the original translation, the ADV translation, because they said it did take too many liberties with, you know, especially with the Shinji Kaoru relationship. They took too many liberties with the translation. Other people are furious that they took that out of the Netflix version. I've heard both sides of it. You know, I'm just saying my own personal preference has always been the ADV version, and I know people are going to fight me on that. But again, it's for me, and I'm probably looking through it with nostalgia goggles on. But for me, that is the definitive Evangelion. The Platinum Collection is the definitive localized version of Evangelion. But it's very weird. You'd think she'd be like, yeah, now you know what it's like, Netflix. Now you know what it's like to be harassed by Eva fans. And she's not. She's basically telling the whole fandom to go piss off. I'm like, oh my God, how did we get to this point? So even Slate, like, I don't think Slate covers anime very often, but they're even weighing in on the controversy now because it's a big deal, I guess, in the anime community right now. You know, it's so weird because everybody talks about how Evangelion has gotten an inordinate amount of attention over the years. It's been looked at and held up in such high regard. Even if objectively the series isn't as good as people remember, it's just because, you know, such a big deal has been made about this show over the years, and the merchandise and the, you know, it's held to this ridiculous level. And I agree with that. I mean, I love Evangelion, but I agree that it's maybe been overstated how important it is to anime. But here we go. Slate, which usually covers politics and crap, is covering Evangelion. Anime classic Neon Genesis Evangelion is finally on Netflix. So why are people upset? Why are some fans upset? And this was just a couple of days ago, so they are a little late to the party. So this is on Vulture, so they're just like cross-promoting here, right? So if you have a Pulse and a Netflix login, you probably at least heard of Neon Genesis Evangelion. I don't know. Actually, they don't seem to be pushing it very hard. Like, we watch anime on Netflix all the time, and I'm not seeing a whole lot of promotion for Evangelion on my account. It's very weird. Evangelion debuted in Japan in '95 and has since earned a reputation as a controversial, psychologically complex, difficult piece of art. I think this is they're sort of overstating its importance. It is an endless fountain of IP. You know, like there's like always Ava merchandise. There's always been Ava merchandise. There will be Ava merchandise until the end of time. So yeah, we have to, you know, people have to know how important the show is. So they're still buying Ava unit model kits, you know, 20, 30, 40 years after the show is aired. The franchise is also an anime classic, equivalent in acclaim, authorship, and cultural footprints to America's Twin Peaks or 2001: A Space Odyssey. There you go. Evangelion is the Japanese version of Twin Peaks. It's a Japanese version of Twin Peaks. A significant subset of vocal fans have spoken out against the Netflix release, taking issue with Netflix's new English translation, which replaced the one that first came to the United States more than 15 years ago, as well as the omission of the series' iconic ending theme song, a version of Fly Me to the Moon. Yeah, I'm actually pretty pissed about that. I'm pissed about it. I'm like, Netflix can throw ridiculous money at creating new shows, but they couldn't secure the rights to Fly Me to the Moon. I don't understand. It had to have been like ridiculously expensive. This brewing backlash seems like a deterrent to new viewers unfamiliar with the series. It's worth taking a step back and survey what's been gained as well as lost in Evangelion's translation. Here's a question and answer guide to everything you need to know about the 26 episode anime. Blah blah blah. What is it? Why is it a big deal? Oh god, this goes on forever. Why is it a big deal it's on Netflix? Because, yeah, the English version, the dub, has been out of print for years. In fact, last time I checked, the Platinum set used was going for $300-400, I think. I don't know. I think we picked my copy up for like $50. Gigi got it for me for Christmas, but I was there when she got it. She stuck it in the cart at Walmart, and I think it was like $50 then. So you're not getting it. You're not getting my Platinum collection. So the show was locked in an odd state of rights limbo over the years, with rampant speculation as to how much it might cost a Blu-ray distributor or streaming service, a company that spent $100 million to license Friends to license the whole series. In the end, Netflix did pick up global streaming rights to this TV series and the movies. They said it was about $3 million by conservative estimates. Every Netflix market around the world was available. But then they talked about the Kaoru situation. That's just part of it. I personally think, I mean, what I've seen of it, I have not, bothered to sit down and watch the entire series. I've watched bits and pieces, some of my favorite parts, to kind of see how it stacks up. And I just think that the translation, yeah, it may be very literal. I think it's very stale. And I'm not really into it. I just don't think it has it going on. It's very, very stale. It might be very literal, but it's very stale. So they said the translation issues fans have flagged are numerous, and on the whole aim toward a more literal translation, sometimes at the expense of Evangelion's themes and subtext. The one scene that became a target of backlash featured an emotional exchange between the protagonist Shinji and the male character Kaoru Nagisa. In the original English dub, Kaoru tells Shinji, "I love you," whereas in the Netflix dub, he says, "I like you a lot. I like you." As Vox pointed out, well, we gotta listen to Vox, this significantly alters the meaning of Kaoru and Shinji's relationship. Which had been coded as queer for a quarter century. Well, on Kaoru's end, look, I don't think Shinji's ever reciprocated. People try to make it out like, Shinji, if you watch it, Shinji is never reciprocated. And the movies make it a lot more explicit. So they talked about why they couldn't get the original version of it, what else is different. They actually single out Amanda Winley. She said she will be heartbroken if she doesn't do Ray's voice. And a lot of the other actors were very upset they didn't get to come back. So compare I Will Be Heartbroken to Eat a Dick. It's kind of like, what? I mean, this is one of those things where she can in private tell people to eat a dick, but yeah, I don't think right now is the right time, especially with everything going on in the anime industry right now. And I have heard Amanda Winley's name come up in other controversies as well. I think telling anime fans to eat a dick right now is probably not a good look. So we'll keep an eye on this. I mean, what's done is done, right? I mean, I don't see Netflix being like, you know what? We did screw up, and the hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars we spent on redubbing this show, you know what? We're going to go back and do it right, because they don't give a shit. It's more content for Netflix. They're just going to dump it on the platform and move on to, if they're going to invest more money in anime, they're going to invest more money into shows that they own or co-produce. They're not going to spend any more money or any more thought on Evangelion, because they're not really actually selling anything. They're not actually selling like the Blu-rays or anything like that. They dumped it onto the service. They did kind of a budget cut translation, and it is what it is. The other option is you track down a copy of the Platinum Collection, you pay hundreds and hundreds of dollars for the ADV dub, or you find it through some other dubious means. But those are basically the choices right now. You know, so I think this will die down a little bit. You know, here in the next few weeks, as you know, people move on to something else to be outraged about. That seems to be the nature of these things. Something will come along next month and sort of take all the attention, all the eyeballs off of Evangelion. But yeah, I think it was a huge miscalculation on Netflix's part. But again, it's not like they're selling Blu-rays. They're not selling, that I'm aware of anyway. They're just dumping it onto the platform so people can watch it legally for a change. So I don't know. We'll see. What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on the Evangelion situation? We've heard for and against in the comments on previous videos. I'm very surprised by Amanda Winley making this comment, especially since so many fans are actually defending her translation, the ADV translation. I'm kind of myself even kind of like, wait a second, we're going to bat for you guys. We've been going to bat for ADV, and you're telling us to eat a dick. Awesome. So I don't know. What are your thoughts? Leave a comment below. Let us know. This has been Neon for CLOWNFISH TV. I'll talk to you later. Hey guys, thanks for watching CLOWNFISH TV. Please consider supporting the channel. Go to clownfishsupport.com. That's clownfishsupport.com. And if you want to join our community, go to clownfishtalk.com. That's clownfishtalk.com. Please subscribe, ring the bell for notifications. We will talk to you next time.